Hey guys, what's up? Welcome, welcome. In this video, I will be talking about good posture. Good posture is all about balance. Not balancing on one leg, even though that helps, but we're talking about total body balance, meaning there's a push and a pull. There's internal rotation, external rotation, there's flexion, there's extension. We're going to combine all these little bits to create the most balanced position that we can be in. That is good posture. If there's one kink in the chain, so say I have a hip problem that can be causing neck pain, or say I have an elevated shoulder, that could be experiencing knee pain. So one kink in the chain can cause the whole entire body to start to compensate, and it creates problems. We have to be trying to create as much balance as possible to start eliminating those kinks in that chain. I'm going to show you two easy things that you can do to help make you feel balanced in the body. Two easy checks, one lower body, one upper body. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So, when we stand, a lot of times when it comes to the lower half of the body, I see a lot of times we collapse. Collapse meaning that we collapse the arch in, our knees drop in. That means we're not creating hip stability. We need to create hip stability. How do we stabilize the hips? If you remember in the very first video that I did, I talked about hinges. I talked about creating external rotation in the ground. So almost screwing your feet into the ground that helps drive your knees out. A great way to start to feel that tactile feel is to get one of these. It's a mini band. It's like a big loop rubber band. If you don't have one of these, I suggest you get one. I can go over a whole month of video on mini band exercises, which I might do. Who knows? But we're going to go ahead. You're going to put this mini band around the pad of your foot. The pad of your foot is the forefoot, so it's just right underneath your toes. If I'm going to bring my foot up here, I'm going to bring it, that's the pad of my foot, that front part, but not around the toes, just below it. When I put that band around the pad of my toes, I'm going to stand out on my normal stance, my postural stance, so about hip width. As I do that, the band wants to pull my feet in, so it wants to internally rotate my feet. I need to fight against that and push out. I don't want you to push out just the side. I want you to try to rotate, so externally rotate. As you do, you're not just rotating your feet, you're rotating all the way up in your hips, driving your knees out. So it really creates that tactile feel of how you create external rotation in the ground. We're not collapsing. Next, to create balance, we have to create internal rotation. So I'm going to take a yoga block. You can use anything that you can squeeze. It could be a ball, whatever. Put it right above your knees, in your inner thighs, in between there. You create external rotation on that band. You create an internal rotation or a squeeze into the block or whatever you got to squeeze. Squeeze that tight. So creating balance. What you should be doing here is you should feel this in your hips. I don't want you clenching your glutes tight. I don't want you clenching your butt and tucking your hips forward. But you want to stay in your hip neutral position and create your external rotation against the band, your internal rotation against the yoga block. What you will feel, hopefully, is stability through your hips. This is an exaggeration. You're not going to create this much tension when you're standing without it. But if you can hold this, stand this, create tension, squeeze for a minute, 2 minutes, it's going to really help turn those stabilizers on the hips so you can actually start to feel how to hold your body in balance and not be collapsed from the waist down. As you can see, I'm not bringing my knees in, and I'm able to stabilize all the way down. So my hips aren't collapsed, my knees aren't collapsed, my ankles aren't collapsed. I'm maintaining a good posture from the waist down. Take that away, and it becomes a lot easier to create that tension or that grounding without collapsing from the waist down. Now we're going to talk about from the waist up. So that was internal, external rotation. Up here we're going to talk about flexion and extension. So I talk about getting the shoulder blades back, but the problem is if you aren't core strong, you're just going to arch your back. I'm going to bring my shoulder blades back. I'm not able to hold the stability. I also talk about that core strength. If I'm only clenching and holding my core in tight, I'm going to round forward. You see how you have to create balance. We have to create the balance between getting back and clenching forwards. Very, very important that we start to feel our rib cage. So our rib cage, this is why I'm wearing this very tight white shirt, so you can see if my rib cage flares open, I'm too far in extension. I want to be able to hold my rib cage close to midline. So I want to tighten that in, and get my shoulder blades back. You see how I'm not moving. If I don't have that stability, again, it just looks like that. So keep your rib cage together, be able to create external rotation at the shoulders. Next, once you got that, keep your rib cage together. Bring your hands overhead, abs staying tight. If I can't maintain core stability, I will come into extension, arch my back. So create that balance, rib cage together, hands up. Once you're overhead, you should really feel your abs start to burn. You're creating lift through your torso, rib cage together, core support, and you create alignment, you create balance. Again, hold your hands overhead while keeping your rib cage together for a minute, 2 minutes. 2 great drills to create balance in the body. So let's finally go over what good posture is. So I want to create that external rotation on the ground. I want to squeeze my inner thighs together. It's not driving my knees in though. It's just tension to create hip stability. I want to keep my knees bent. I want to lock them out. So I want to keep my knees bent. External rotation, internal squeeze. Hips are neutral, so I'm not clenching my butt in tight. Hips are in a nice neutral position. I now have stability from the lower half. Next, as I move up, rib cage together, shoulder blades back. So I'm not arching, and I'm not in flexion. I'm in that nice middle ground. Again, I can bring my hands up, feel that tension, keep that lift, lower down. Then get my neck back over my body. So just tuck your chin in, and then relax. After you create all that tension, relax, feel your stability, feel yourself in a balanced position. Please, please, please work on that. Very important that we start to find balance in the body. We can start to eliminate those kinks in that chain. Hopefully start to eliminate pain that you're having, you're experiencing. And then be able to thrive in your life, being able to do the things that you love for your whole life. And that'll make, again, everything that much better. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, again, I know some of that stuff can be confusing, so please ask. But next week, who knows what I'll do, but I'll do something. Alright guys, I will see you next week.